Hey guys, Danny here again, getting ready to split this case from the 2006 Suzuki Boulevard M109R. Okay, so I've got all the bolts out already across the top. I've got all the bolts out, and I've actually already broken the seal on this, but I just wanted to kind of let you know how to do it and how it comes off and stuff. So basically, once you get all your bolts out, take a mallet and kind of, tap where it comes across, you see the seal. Find some spots to kind of just give it a little tap, You want to be careful where you tap. The little things sticking out like that, you don't want to tap on that because that's liable to break. This is just like a cast. So you kind of give it some taps. You can kind of probably tap it up here. That'll loosen it a lot right there. And then it just kind of lifts off. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lift it off and flip it on its back right here. So what you got in here is your shift forks. These go between the gears here, here, and here, 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 and here, and it slides these gears to shift gears. So this is your main transmission, your main shaft, counter shaft, balancing shaft, and then your crankshaft. And here's the bad piston where it's all black. You can see it pretty bad as opposed to this one over here. So I'm gonna pop all these out real quick, and they basically just lift straight out, just straight out. There's kind of a hole here. It is threaded, so you want to be careful not to mess up any threads. Although I don't believe anything threads into it, but you might have to get like a punch or something to kind of pry it up out of there a little bit. Be careful where you pry because you don't want to break anything. And usually they just lift up, so I'm just going to lift them up and then set them over here on the bench. So. All right, again, and then you want to hold the ends together too. Because sometimes these bearings will slide off, and you don't want that to happen. As I lay them on the bench, I'm going to keep the gears lined up with the gears that it went to. Not that it makes a difference on the bench, just just because. Now this counter shaft here, on this end here, it has an oil seal. You'll want to remove that as well when you remove the shaft. All right, and then the big boy. And there is that. Okay. One thing I want to point out before I get to all the damage is. So one thing I want to get to before all the damage is for you guys to know that there are pieces, that there's some parts in here that you'll want to remove before you do any cleaning and such. This is the perfect example of what the bearing was supposed to be like that got ground down. So they're like that, and then these are the uppers. Now these were on the outer shafts, so that's why they didn't get wore, as opposed to the middle, the ones that riding in the middle. Also, and these just pop out, by the way. Give it a little pressure on one side, and they'll just lift out. So that's about how thick they are. And you saw how You saw how thin those metal shards got down to, so I'm going to leave that right there for now, but there's one on each side. Also, in here, these kind of like line up with the bearings that ride in there. There's a groove here, and this ring here. If you just push on it, it'll come up. So you'll want to keep track of those as well. There's one here, one over here. This groove here, there's a little, kind of like a little divot here, and that rides, this is where actually it's this bearing. You see that divot there? That's for the main shaft. And that little divot there will ride inside that so that the bearing itself doesn't spin. But there's one here, there's one here. Two bearings there. There's another one over here. So just keep track of them. I like to bag and tag them, what I call, you know, just take them in a baggie, mark down what they are, what each item is, and that way you keep track of everything. Otherwise it could turn into a disaster. So that's where we're at there. I'm going to evaluate this this damage next, and I'll let you know what that looks like. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.